Hi, my name is Matt Widgery from mattwidgery.com. In today's episode, I'm going to be having a look at a story that is completely all over the internet. If you followed any of the photography blogs, I know Petapixel have covered it. I know a lot of different people have covered it. But I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in here because it actually really it incensed me, it shocks me, and it's something that I wanted to kind of, if you haven't already sort of caught up with the story, I wanted to share it with you. And if you have caught up with the story, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. And I just wanted to put my 2 cents worth onto this story because I think that the whole thing's got blown way out of proportion. How it's ever got to this point, I don't know. But anyway, this is the story. For those of you that don't know, there is a photographer. I'll try speaking in words in a minute. There is a photographer called Joshua Resnick from Columbus, Ohio, who is currently being sued by a model from Rocky River, Ohio, by the name of Nicole Forni, and she is suing Joshua for the princely sum it alleges here on Petapixel of $500,000. That's right, $500,000, because what's allegedly happened is Joshua took some photos of Nicole. And you know, with the purposes, the express purpose, I think, allegedly, and all that stuff, of it being used for stock photography, and I believe also for his portfolio, and for basically that. What actually ended up happening is that the photographs have been used for things that Nicole definitely didn't want, and some of the lists include where are we? Erotic book covers, escort ads, and strip club ads. So obviously you can imagine that she wasn't particularly happy with that because that wasn't what she'd signed up to do, and clearly she wasn't. That wasn't in the agreement at all. She didn't want that to happen. So she's suing the photographer for this. Now the photographer is saying that he didn't authorise this, that he didn't sell the photos to anybody that was going to use them in that manner, that he has a terms of service agreement with the people that he sells to through the stock photo agencies that expressly prohibits pornographic/defamatory use. So presumably one can only assume that includes escort ads and ads for strip clubs and things like that. So there's obviously there's a row that's built up between the two of them. Now, this is the thing that really grinds my gears. Is why has, look, I mean, by the Joshua, you can see that I'll put a link underneath here to a video. Can we link it on the screen? I think we can. We'll put it up there. Joshua's put his side across in a video. I haven't seen anything from Nicole, but he seems like a genuine guy. I don't know, that's just my opinion. And I don't personally believe they would have gone out to kind of shaft this model. And I honestly believe that generally photographers are pretty unlikely to do that because you just don't end up working again. And photography is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be collaborative. And, if you work with a model and then you sort of end up, sort of screwing her over the contract and selling the photos to somewhere, it's just kind of, it's going to be really bad for you and the photographer, and the model, and anybody else that's involved. If it was makeup artists involved, I don't know if there was anybody else involved, but, stylists and hair and maybe props and whatever else as well. So I don't know. It just seems like a really scummy thing to have done, and judging by how strongly Resnick has come out in his own defence, I just personally believe that he didn't do that. Now, from the flip side, you can clearly understand how upset Nicole must be, because clearly something has happened which has been devastating. I mean, for her to have her adverts on an escort ad, if you're not an actual escort, and that's kind of pretty bad. Like if your parents see that, right, or so that gets back to somebody it's just going to be mortifying. So you can understand that she's obviously really upset by that. What I personally cannot understand is why these two, rather than go to court and fighting each other, why aren't they in collaboration to find, track down and sue, or find some retribution, find some retaliation, whatever, recriminations against the people that have stolen these images? It seems fairly obvious that the images have been stolen. Allegedly what's happened is that the photos were shared on Facebook, and allegedly they were shared through these, I hate having to say fucking allegedly all the time, but you know what's going to happen, I'll end up getting sued next. So allegedly they were put onto these stock photo websites as well. Right, so how hard is it really to go right click, save as, and and then you've got the image. And I know things like SmugBug Pro that I use for one of my gallery things for my wedding clients, for example, has got a protect function on there. So you can kind of if you try and right click on it, it says you can't because the image is copyrighted. That's all very well and good, but it doesn't stop you going print screen. It doesn't stop you doing other really simple ways to get these images. Joshua Resnick also, again, the photographer, he also alleges that he has found copies of these images on what he calls pirate sites where you can get these images for free. So clearly at some point, they have been stolen because they've ended up on these pirate sites. So, that seems to have happened. It seems likely that, whoever has ended up using the images nefariously has used them in this manner. So what do I take from all this? I take from this the simple kind of overriding principle of photography, the way I do it, which is that it's supposed to be collaborative. The model, the photographer, the makeup artist, the stylist, the wardrobe, everything, all those people are coming together to make a vision of something that is artistic, that's beautiful, that serves a purpose, that helps everybody that's involved with that creative process. So why can't we get to the point? Why are we at the point where we're suing each other in that kind of collaborative team, against something that's happened to us as a team? Because it's bad for Joshua. It's bad for his reputation if he's trying to make a living as a stock photographer, and people just see him as the king of porn. That's bad for him. It's bad for the model if she's trying to make an image for herself in a different sort of genre of modeling that isn't pornographic, and that's what she's kind of being labelled with. Especially if it's something like escorting. It's not even modeling; it's a completely different career choice altogether. And she doesn't want to be associated with that, presumably, or that's so. I just don't see why, because this is bad for everybody, why they aren't on the same page. So please, photographers, models, makeup artists, hair people, wardrobe, stylists, props, anybody else that's involved, the guy that you send your camera off to clean the sensor, everybody that's involved in photography, please start collaborating, start acting together, because it takes all of us to make that image, from the bloke that prints your final print, from the guy that makes the frames, from the guy that designs the lens on your camera, from the guy that sold you that particular type of strap in the shop. I don't know, even me yabbiting at you through YouTube. Who knows if I make any difference to your photography or not. But regardless, we're all in this together, and so we should probably try and act more like a team. So please stop suing each other. Act as a team. I really hope that Nicole and Joshua, I really hope you guys sort it out, and for the good of yourselves and for each other, for photography as a whole. And that's it. That's all I've got to say. If you have had any kind of infightings and kind of messy business with shoots that you're currently that you've been on in the past, let me know in the comments below, because it'd be really interesting to see if this is a unique experience to these guys, or if this has happened to anybody else, and how it was resolved. How, did you resolve it? Are you not resolved? I don't know. Let me know. And then also, as always, the drill. Right there, please press that button and subscribe. 2015 is going to be a big year for this channel. I hope to do really lots of wonderful things with it. And I can only do that with the help of you guys all subscribing to it, because I need to get a critical mass of people on this so that it generates its own momentum, and then I can get sponsorship to go off and do other things with it and make it bigger and give you more interesting content. So that's it. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.